Hi guys, back with another video. Today, you know what, I thought I've done a lot of reading this month, and you know what type of videos are popular? What I read in yada yada month. So today I'm going to do a video about which books I read in February. I'm aware I didn't do one for January, probably should have done. But some of these books I started in January and finished in February, so technically, does that count? We'll say it does. So anyway, let's get into the books that I read in February. And it may seem like there's a bit of a theme that was not intentional, okay? I'm saying this now, it was not intentional. So the first book is When She Was Bad by Tammy Cohen. This book is essentially it's sort of two parallel narratives. You've got one narrative that's set in England and it's set in an office where I think there's 5 POV characters, Sarah, Amira, Paula, Ewan and Charlie. And they're sort of going about their life, and their boss, they get a new boss who's like the archetypal mean bitch boss called Rachel. And the second sort of narrative strain is, what's her name? Anne, I think, who is a child psychologist, I believe, and she's telling the story about this girl who was taken from her parents because her parents kept their son in a cage, and the daughter was very aware of the fact that her brother was treated as less than human. This book annoyed me a little bit. It does throw a little bit of misdirection at you, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers or anything, but it's a crime thriller, right? Who you think is the killer, you will be blindsided into thinking certain people are the killer at certain points. And then it's right at the end that you realise, no, you've been had. You've been looking at the wrong characters as potential killers. It was kind of clever. It wasn't my favourite because all of the POVs started getting a little bit annoying, because you've got 5 different POVs in the England sections, and you've got Anne's POVs, and the way that it kept going between them, I found Anne's the most interesting, and there were some times where it was a real slog and only the murder sort of mystery elements start coming in towards the end. So it wasn't my favourite, but it was, it's a pretty good read. It's 374 pages, so it's a fairly quick read. So if you like crime thrillers, then you might like it. I just didn't appreciate the fact I was blindsided, especially as the title is a misdirection, okay? Title is a major misdirection. Keep that in mind. Anyway, the second book is a young adult fiction by E. Lockhart, which We Were Liars. I only just got around to reading this, and I'd heard very good things. I'd also kind of had the ending spoiled for me, so I came to this book having a completely different idea in my head. Apart from that, the twist is pretty good. It is set up in just the right way that if you go into this without knowing what the twist is, you'll enjoy it, and you'll think, oh my gosh, how didn't I notice, like yada yada. The twist does become quite clear. It's good. I think it's interesting, the concept of it, and it is a young adult book that deals with depression, deals with teenage relationships, it deals with dementia, It deals with amnesia. It's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's my favourite book I've ever read. It's not my favourite young adult by a long shot, but it's entertaining. And check how many pages it's got. It's 225, so yet again, I think I got through this in like 2 sittings. It's pretty good. I'd recommend it. I think it's one of those books that you will either love it or you'll hate it, because it's pretty much pretty rich people talking about their problems, which, if you know me, I absolutely despise in TV. I will instantly just turn it off if something like the Kardashians is on. It's like, oh my gosh, you're so rich. Oh, my heart bleeds. But this made it really interesting. So yeah, I'd recommend it. Yeah, let's move on to the next one, shall we? The next one is a book that I have reviewed. Got a non-spoiler review on my channel, which I'll leave down below if you want to know more of my in-depth thoughts on it. But it is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. Yeah, when I said there's a theme, apparently I seemed to gravitate towards thrillers and mysteries. I guess that's kind of the genre I'm drawn to naturally, so you know. But it's probably one of the best books that I've read this month. It does have a corker of an ending, and I think the one reason that this book might suffer is it is getting really overhyped, and it's a book that's become famous for its ending, which kind of negates some of the influence of the actual narrative, because everyone's just wanting to get to the ending. But it's a solid read, and it utilises POV very well. I would have liked to have had some of David's POV once certain things are established, but you know, it's the story of these 2 women that are bound, so it's pretty good. It's a mystery thriller. If you like things like Gone Girl, Girl on the Train, When She Was Bad, you gon' love this. So now we move on to the non-fiction that I read this month. At first, I don't actually have a physical copy of it because it's out of print, but it's All the Devils Are Here by David Seabrook. What to say about David Seabrook? What to say about the man? He's got a few issues, it's fair to say. The way I would describe this book, it's got 2 levels to it. The first is a man walking around Kent, visiting Broadstairs, Margate, Chatham, Rochester and Deal, and you know, just telling stories about these particular places and the connections they have to certain things. So for instance, he connects Dickens to Rochester and includes, apart from the mystery of Edwin Drood, he mentions about T.S. Eliot, the dads, Robert and Richard Dad, who there's a lot of murder. There's a lot of murders he mentions. He mentions about the Drac the Stripper murders. It's pretty solid. And then the second level is the story of one man's complete mental breakdown as he walks around Kent. It's told in a very fragmentary style, which is reflected by the mention in the prologue where he mentions T.S. Eliot's fragments. It's very fragmentary. It's like, it's crazy. And it has the line, "Tell me about the angel's cock," So, you know, need I say more to convince you? It is amazingly well written. It's trippy, and it does the really amazing thing of being very seemingly unfocused, but written in a very focused way. It's weird. It's either that or it's very focused and written in an unfocused way. I would love to meet Dave. Well, he's dead now. Killed himself. But, you know, I would have loved to have met the man, gone for a pint with him. I think he would have had some amazing stories to tell. R.I.P. Seabrook, you are an amazing, amazing writer and man. R.I.P. And the last book that I read this month is Revolution in the Head by Ian MacDonald, The Beatles, Records and the 60s. As you might expect, this is about every single Beatles record that was ever recorded, going through chronology. There's a lot of songs in this, and old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. But he's got a lot of feelings, and there are some songs. What I ended up doing was I read the introduction and just found a few songs from each section, because there are 4 sections that I liked and knew. So it was things like Yellow Submarine, Hey Jude, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Strawberry Fields, Forever. I was actually really surprised to read that Ian MacDonald really hated Across the Universe. I was just like, oh, some of the things he was saying were downright bitchy. I was just like, oh, put them claws away, Ian. Jesus. But the thing is, he writes so well and he reviews each song so well that even when you don't agree with him, maybe personally, I really like the song Across the Universe. Apparently he hates it. But the way he writes, he establishes a rapport so that you kind of believe him. You take his word for it. You may not agree with him, but you can accept his opinion as someone who is very knowledgeable about the subject matter. So it may have been a right slog to get through. Come on. In total, if we include the expanded material, like the glossary and the compact discography, it's 515 pages. It's a slog to get through, but it is amazingly well written, and I had to read it for my non-fiction lecture, because for one of our assignments we've got to review a piece of art, a piece of music, yada yada, and this is pretty much the archetype of how you review something. So I may not have liked it per se, because I think I can appreciate the music of the Beatles, but I don't really think I want to understand one man's take on all of them. But it's pretty well written and it's pretty good. So, you know, if you love the Beatles and you're also interested in how they relate to the 1960s and how the music was influenced by events, for instance, with Hey Jude, the music video was completely, sort of mainly improvised, and it has people from all ethnicities and religious groups and genders all joined together in unity, singing la 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 Hey Jude, which is pretty awesome. Progressive Beatles, love it. So that was what I read in February, Let me know if you want any more of these type of videos, whether I do one for March, depends entirely on you guys. Yeah, I apologise, it's taken me like 5 days to get this out, but you know, uni life be cray. Uni life be cray. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next video. Auf Wiedersen.